Hey guys, welcome back to this series of tutorials where we are building a complete food delivery app in React Native and Firebase. In this video, we will continue from where we left in the previous one. So far, this is what we've built. We also did complete this screen as well as this one. So today we will complete this screen here. This is called the home screen, and this is supposed to look like this one. This is the final screen. This is what we're targeting. So in this video, we're gonna begin creating this card, and hopefully we will finish everything today in this video. So if it's your first time to watch this video, I would recommend you to watch the previous ones as well, so you can be on the same page with us. I will leave the links to the previous videos below this video, so you can check them and get to speed with us. And without wasting any time, I would like you to open your code editor and go to the home screen, and we will begin coding this. So far we have stopped at free delivery now, and I want you to make a new folder, a new file. You're going to make a new file inside the global, inside the component. Create a new file inside the component. You call it foodcart.js. So this component is going to be the card that you're seeing. This will be the food card, and all this card is what we're going to create inside this food card component. So I assume you have created the foodcart.js file, and now before we start coding, I want you to go to global and open the data.js file as well. And inside here we're going to create some data, because as you can see on this card, we have different data like the review, the numbers of reviews. You have the restaurant name, how far away it is from your place. It has also the address, it has the image. So all these data will be coming from the database. But since we're still building the UI, we have not started building the back end yet. So I'm going to create this database locally, or I'm just going to create some data inside the file for demonstration purpose. And then when we connect the application to the server, then we're gonna delete all this dummy data that I'm creating here for now. So this is simply for demonstration purpose, but all these data will be fetched from a database at the end of this project. So I'm going to paste some data. I don't want to waste time typing all this. I'm going to paste some data. You can pause the video and type what I'm pasting right now. So the data that I'm creating in this file is called restaurant data. Sorry, I think there's a mistake here. It's supposed to be a restaurant. Awesome, restaurant data. So this is an array of restaurant, or an array of object, and each object represents a restaurant. So in each object, you're gonna have the restaurant name, the distance away from you, the address, and all this information that you can see inside here. So I'm going to scroll for you to be able to pause and copy this data. So this is all the data that you have to populate into this data.js file. Assume this should be fine. You can pause this video and type all this data, but also I'm going to leave a GitHub link to this file, and you can copy and paste into your project. For now, you can just continue listening and you understand what we're gonna be doing in this project. So the next thing that we're gonna do is go back to the file that you've just created inside the component, foodcart.js file. I'm inside my foodcart.js file. Here we're going to create the food cart. So I'm going to import some component and libraries. I don't have to tap them. I'm simply gonna paste so we don't waste time. So you can see I've imported React from React, as well as some component from React Native, and I'm also importing icon from React Native element, and I'm importing some styles from our global styles file. And now I'm going to create the component. It's gonna be exported as default. Export default function food cart, and this should retain some JSX. Retain, gonna be retaining a view. Okay, let me just show you something before I begin returning views and all this. If you click on any place on this card, it will take you to the home screen of the restaurant. If I click on the picture, you can see it has taken me to the home screen of the restaurant. So that means this card has to be touchable. Any place you have to be able to navigate. So what we're going to be returning, instead of a normal view, we're going to be returning a touchable view or touchable component. It's going to be a touchable component, so going to be touchable opacity that we're going to be using, and inside this then we're going to have a view that will be wrapped by this touchable opacity. And one more thing that I have to mention is this card, all the data on the card have to be dynamically passed, because you can see on this card here we have the restaurant name is McDonald's, on the next one it's KFC, and the next one is Tears. So all these data we cannot write all these data on each card, so we have to pass this data dynamically. And in order to do that, you have to create props that will receive this data. So we're going to create some props for this card so that all the data will be dynamically passed. And you can see also the sizes of this card. You can see the content is the same, but if you see the size of card inside the restaurant in your area, as well as the card that are above, you can see that they are different sizes. So we have to be able to pass even the size and everything dynamically. So we're going to pass some props inside here, and the first prop that I can pass will be called onPress food cart, and the other prop that we're gonna create for this food cart is gonna be called restaurant name. And the other prop that we need to create, okay, instead of me typing all this, let me just paste them quickly. I'm going to paste some props that we're gonna be making for this component. So you can type all these props. As I said, we need to create some props for this card so that we are able to pass all the data that are on the card dynamically. So all these status, you can see they are passed dynamically. You can see the review there is different from this. So we're creating these props so we are able to achieve that. That being said, Now you can go to your view. So before that, let's create some styles. You can say const styles, and this will be from the style sheet dot create, and we're gonna be passing an object of styles. And inside this view, we're going to first of all pass some styles. We're gonna create a style here. We call it card view. So this is the parent style for this card view, and this will be an object. I'm going to paste some styles so that we don't waste a lot of time typing all these styles. You can simply pause the video and paste these styles. These are the styles for this, and then inside this we're going to spread the styles that we just created now, dot card view, and also going to pass the width. And it must be noted that the width is gonna be dynamically passed, because you can see that the width of this card is different from the width of this one. So I'm going to say the width will be equal to the screen width, which will be passed from the home screen. Now we have created our view for the card. I need to pass the picture. You can see each card has got a picture. So the first thing that we're gonna pass is the picture component. So I'm going to say image, close the tag, and inside this image we're gonna also create some styles for this image, and the style I'm gonna call it image, and this will be an object. Again, I'm going to paste some styles for this so that you don't waste a lot of time typing styles. I'm simply gonna copy some styles here and paste them. So those are the styles for the image. I'm giving it a height of 150 and some border radius and all this. So in the image component, we can now tap call the style prop, and we're gonna pass some styles to it, and this will be we're gonna be spreading the styles dot image, and also we're gonna pass the width, which will be equal to the screen width. Awesome. And also, oh sorry, the spread operator is lacking one. Okay, make sure it is 3 dot. We're gonna pass the source prop, and this is gonna be a URI, and we're gonna say this will be equal to the images. So far we have the image component created. Now I want you to move out of this view. We're gonna begin creating some text. So what we're gonna be creating now is the restaurant name. We're gonna create the restaurant name, because you can see after the picture we have the restaurant name. So we're gonna open a view, open a view, and inside this view we're going to open another view, and then we're gonna pass the text component, and we're gonna dynamically pass the restaurant name. Gonna say restaurant name, and we need to create some stars equal to stars dot restaurant name. So now we need to create this restaurant name star. We can go down into your style sheet, create restaurant name, and this will be an object. Again, I'm going to quickly paste some stars so we don't waste time. I copy restaurant name style, put it there. Awesome. You can scroll back, and now we're done with the restaurant name. So far we have created the image, we have created the restaurant name. Now we need to create this small location icon with the time away from your place, which is in my case 21.2 minutes from me, and going also to create the name of the restaurant, the address of the restaurant. So in order to do that, we're going to create another view just beneath this view. Open another view, and inside this view we're going to pass some stars. I say stars, and I'm gonna pass a flex of 1, and I'm gonna pass the flex direction. We're gonna say row, because you can see all the items in this view here are aligned inside in a row. So that's why we're passing that flex direction. And now let's begin creating the icon. So the first thing that we need to create is the icon, but before doing that we must create a view, another view inside here, create another view inside this, and we're going to pass some styles, and this we're gonna say styles dot let me see what name I can give it. I'm gonna say distance. Now let's go to our style sheet. We create the distance stars. I'm gonna say distance. This will be an object, and again I'm going to quickly paste some styles so that we don't waste time. I'm going to paste some stars. These are the stars. Let me just make it neat. We can pause the video and type these stars as well. Then let's go back to our view. We are here, and now inside this we can create our icon. The first icon we're creating is this icon here, which is the location icon. So I think by now you know exactly how we're creating icons, so I won't type all this. I'm simply gonna paste the icon component. So I want to make this video as short as possible, because we have done this already. You know exactly how to create an icon with a React Native element. Sorry, I'm doing something. Awesome. So this is the icon I've just pasted. It's an icon component. I'm passing the name, which is place, and the type is material, and the color, size, and everything. And I've also created some styles. I'm giving it a margin top of 3. Now we've created this icon. Now let's create this text. Below this icon, create a text component, and we're gonna dynamically pass the text data, which is gonna be far away, and we're gonna also create a style for this text. We're gonna say style, this will be equal to styles dot, I can call it minute because that's what it is, minute. So now let's create the minute stars inside our star sheet. I'm gonna say min, it's gonna be an object. Again, I'm going to paste some stars so we move quickly, as there's still a lot to be done in this video. I'm pasting, this is what stars we're gonna be using for the min. So we can pause and tap these stars, and then we're gonna go back to this. So now you have created this time, and we can see that the only thing that will be changing is this number 21.2, but the minutes is just gonna be a text. So we can, next to this, we can create some, we can simply say min. Okay, so we're gonna have this data which is dynamically passed, and then we're gonna have this which is gonna be a static data. And that being said, now we need to create the address. We need to create this address here, and in order to do that, I want you to create another view outside of this view. So create a view outside of this view here. I'm gonna say view, and inside this view we're gonna pass some stars. I'm gonna say star equal to, I'm gonna give it a flex, we're gonna give it a flex of 9, and I'm gonna pass flex direction of row. That's awesome. Now we need to pass the address inside here. We're gonna say this is gonna pass first a text component, and inside we're gonna pass the address dynamically. This will be equal to the business address, and you also need to create some stars. Gonna say star equal to stars dot address. I'm going to create a star called address. So now we must go in our star sheet to create this address star. So I'm gonna scroll down to our star sheet. Here I'm gonna say address, and this will be an object, and again I'm going to copy some stars and paste so that we don't waste time tapping stars. So these are the stars for the address. You can pause the video and type the stars. Now I think we have created most of the things. I think one of, or the last thing that we need to create is this review in the corner. You can see we have 4.9 and 2, which is the average review, and 272 reviews. That means 272 people have reviewed this restaurant, and you have that gray background which is transparent. So we need to implement this. So in order to implement this, I want you to create a view just on top of touchable opacity. Create a view, and we're gonna pass a stars to this view. I'm gonna say star. This will be stars dot, I'm going to call it review because it applied to the review stars dot review. Now we need to create this review stars in our star sheet. I'm going to scroll down inside our star sheet. I'm going to say review, and this will be an object. Again, I'm going to quickly paste some stars. I'm going to paste some stars here, and these are the stars for this review component. So you can pause the video and type this. These are the stars, and now I will scroll again back to our review view, and inside here we'll begin typing. The first one will be, passing some children to this view. So the first child will be a text component which will stand for this average review. In this case 4.9. So I'll open a text component, and I will pass some data dynamically, and this will be the average review. And we're gonna pass some stars to this average review. So I'm gonna say stars equal stars dot, I'm gonna say this will be average. Just gonna give it the name of average. You can give it whatever name you wish, it won't make a difference as long as it's the same name that will be created in your star sheet. So sometimes I run out of names when creating these things. So I'm gonna say average, and I'm going to copy some stars and paste so that we don't waste time. So these are the stars. You can pause the video and type them. These are the stars for the average review, and we also have the total number of people that have reviewed the restaurant, in this case to 272 for McDonald's restaurant. So we're gonna create another text component, and inside this text component we're going to pass dynamic data for the total number of people that have reviewed a specific restaurant. So here we're gonna say number of review, and then we're gonna have this text here saying reviews, which is just a static text. Gonna say reviews. Awesome. So I'm going to save this file. I think we have created our component. This has been really fast, or the fastest I could have taken to create this component. So I'm gonna save this, and go to our home screen. We're gonna now begin to use this this component which we have created, the Foodcart component. So now I'm inside the home screen. I'm gonna scroll down until where we have created the free delivery view, and beneath this view, just above the scroll view, I want you to open another view. I'm gonna open a view, and let me show you something. You can see all these cards are in an horizontal scroll view, and this will be achieved by a flat list component. React Native gives us a flat list, which is an optimized scroll view for these types of instances where we have to fetch a lot of data from the database, especially big data like pictures and things like that. It's better to render them inside a flat list instead of using your normal scroll view. So I'm going to call a flat list. We did import that flat list component before because it's the same component that is used in this view here. This is the same component, it's the flat list component that we're going to be using again. We call flat list component. We close the tag. And now inside this tag, we need to pass some styles. Inside this flat list, I'm going to pass some styles. I'm not going to type it, I'm just going to paste some styles. You can type these styles as well. And the the flat list can be vertical or horizontal. This is vertical and this one is horizontal because we're scrolling in horizontal manner. So we need to pass that prop to say horizontal is true for this flat list. And now we need to pass the data which must be rendered by this flat list. So this has to be an array of data. And as we have seen in our global data, we did create a restaurant data, which is an array of objects, and each object represents a restaurant. And so we need first to import that. We can come to, we did import filter data before from global/data. So here we can also import the restaurant data. Awesome. Now we can pass this data to our flat list. We're gonna say flat list and then we pass data, type data. This will be equal to restaurant data. Okay. Now one more thing that we need to do, we need to extract the key, because each component or each view rendered by the flat list must have a unique key to differentiate it. Otherwise this might create errors or confusion when rendering this data on your screen. So we're gonna pass the key extractor prop from flat list component, and in this we're gonna say this should take two arguments. The first one will be item and the second one will be index. And then we need to stringify this, so we're going to say index dot to string. And the next thing that we now need to do, we need to render this data that we've passed to our flat list. So we're going to use the render item method from flat list. So we're gonna say this will take some data, make sure this data is destructured, and this will be the item. I'm gonna call it item, and then we can return a view with sorry, I just need to return, I don't need to write any data, so I'm simply gonna return. You can just say that, you can open those bracket there. So this will be the food card that will be returning. But before returning this, I would like to return it inside the view. So we are able to to give it a margin or give it some styles or whatever, things like padding. We need to be able to pass this to this view, and then inside this view we're gonna call our food card component. I'm gonna say food card component, and then I'll close the tag. So make sure this food card is imported into your home screen, because in my case you will see that the food card has been automatically imported, but in your case it might not be like this. So make sure you import it either manually or if it's not automatically imported. Now we need to pass the data, because right now if I save this, we won't have anything on our app. So we need to pass the data that you have created, or the props that you have created for our food delivery card. We can see that we did create all these props. So now it's time for us to pass dynamic data to them from the home screen. So the first prop that we're gonna pass is I can say the screen width, and the screen width, I will say this will be equal to there's one thing that I want to show you. Okay, before that it's gonna be equal to screen width times 0.8. So what I'm doing here, what I'm saying is that I want my card width, which is from here to there, I want it to be 80% of my screen size, or the screen width. So you can see I'm saying this will be equal to this screen width times 0.8, which will stand for 80% of my size of the screen. So now we have to create this screen width variable. I think in my case I did create it already. So I want you to go on top of your screen, outside your home screen function. I want you to create this. You can say const screen width equal to dimension dot get window, and then you get the the width object. So you can type this, and once you type that, make sure you import the dimensions component from React Native. I did import that already. Make sure you import this so that you can be able to use the dimension component to get the size of your screen. You can get sizes like width, you can get height, and all those type of things. That being said, let's go back to our app. Now I need to pass the other props, but before passing that, let me save so you understand exactly what's happening. I'm saving this. Awesome. Okay, so far we have this is the cards that you have created. We can see that they are empty. They are empty right now, and there's no data displayed. So because the reason why they are empty is that you have not passed the props that you have created yet. We need to pass data to these props so we can have data displayed on our card. Now I'm going to pass the image props, images. I'll say this will be equal to item dot images. Now I'm going to save this. When I save, you will see that there will be pictures now displayed inside the card. Okay, things like pictures, I need to refresh the app. I can simply go back to the previous screen, and then inside why are we not getting some pictures? Let me just close this up because it has to be refreshed. I'm going to close it, and again I'm going to open Express Food app. Here it is. Okay, we're still having problem. I think I might be having problem with my internet, because you can see these pictures, they have to be fetched from a database. In this case, I'm fetching them from AWS S3, and I'm just gonna pause the video to check my internet connection, because sometimes if the internet connection has a problem, then you might not have the pictures. Okay, uh, I've checked my internet connection. I think that's where the problem was. So now let me try again. Call the images. I'll pass the images, or say images equal to item dot images. Let me save and see if this will be fine. Awesome. Now when I pass the images, you have the images now displayed on the card, as you can see. The other prop that we're going to pass, I'm going to pass the restaurant name. This will be called item dot restaurant name, and let me save. And you can see now we have the restaurant name there. And one more thing that we're gonna do, let me just pass some margin to this. I'm going to say stars. I'm going to pass some margin to this view. I'm going to tell stars margin can pass margin right. Let's say 10. Let's see what this gives. Sorry, this is supposed to be an object. Just make sure you have an object here. Awesome. This must be an object. Yes. Let me save. Okay, this is giving us a margin. Actually, I could keep it at 5. Let's try 5. Let's see. Alright, now we're going to pass some more props. I'm going to say far away. This will be called item dot far away, and let me save that. Now you can see we have the time, the distance between you and the restaurant. It's telling me, for example, in my case, is 21.2 minutes away from McDonald's. Now let's pass the address. I'm gonna say this will be business address. Can I say this will be equal to business address? Item dot business address. Let's save and see. Now we have the business address there. You can see 22 basis weight for this. And now let's pass the average review. It's gonna be item dot average review. Also going to pass the number of review. Should be called item dot number of review. And now you can see on top there we have the review for each restaurant, and you can see the review is different from the previous one. So that means this data is applied to each restaurant individually. Okay, so this is looking good. This is looking good. And there's one more thing I want to do. I don't want to have this scroll indicator. You can see as I'm scrolling, you have this indicator here. So I want to remove that, and in order to remove that, we're going to pass some props to this flat list component. Can put it here. I'm going to say shows horizontal scroll view indicator. I'm going to pass a false to it. I don't want it to be shown. I'm going to say false. And now when I'm scrolling, you won't see that indicator anymore. So everything is okay. And I don't want to have, right now you can see the restaurant name is outside of the card. It's not inside this border. I want to push it inside. So I want you to go to your card and let's find the restaurant name styles here. I'm going to pass some stars to it. I'm going to say margin left, I'm gonna give it 10 and I'll save. Let's see, now we have the restaurant name aligned with the card. This is looking great. Let's see if this is what we have inside our, okay. And one more thing, you can see the text are white, as well as we have a small borderline on the card which is gray. So we need to make this text white as well as create the borderline. And in order to do that, gonna go to this is supposed to be the review. Let me see. This is here. So number of reviews, going to work on the number of review style. The number of review, where's that style now? Let me see. Okay, we didn't pass any style to this. I think that's the reason why. So because you can see on this number of review component, there is no styles for this text component. So we're going to create that style. I'm going to tap here, styles, equal. We can say this will be equal to styles dot number of review. Now in here we need to create a number of review styles. I'm gonna say number of reviews. I'm going to paste some styles so we don't waste much time. So you can pause this video and type these styles as well. And let me go to the app. Now I'm going to save this. Let's see if this will become white. Awesome. Now you can see the reviews, the number of reviews is white, and this is looking great. This is awesome. This is good. So now we need to create some border around this card, and in order to do that, we need to go back again to our main view. You can scroll up. So this is the card and this is the card view. Let's see the card view style. We have given it a border of 1 and colors. Did we import colors in this? Why are we not having colors? Okay, I see the reason why this is not having. we have to do something. You need to cut this view. I mean, not that view. Let me go back. Something is just, we need to cut this view, and can cut this view here. Cut it and make sure it is inside this restaurant card view. So you can see the view where I am, and then paste what you've cut inside here so that they can inherit the card style. I'm going to paste. Awesome. Now you can see we have the border, which is looking great. And something else, I think that should be it. Let me see if this looks like the card that we have in this restaurant. Yes, this is awesome. And this is looking good. Now we need to create, we're done with this view. Now we need to create this one as well, promotions available, these categories. So this is very easy because it's the same thing as what is on top here. The only difference is that we have promotions available. So in this category, I'm simply gonna copy what we have just done, and I will paste it. Go to your home screen.js file and copy this view here with your flat list. You can also copy the title, which is the free delivery. Copy and go down above the scroll view, paste that. You have pasted this. Now here you're just gonna change this to say promotions available. Let's go back to our app. We're going to save this. Awesome. Now you have this promotions available cards as well. Now restaurant that will be listed here will be the restaurant which have got promotions available. And the other thing that we need to create, we also need to create the restaurant in your area. We're going to create these cards, and this will be a bit different because we are inside the scroll view already. We cannot add a scroll view with the same orientation in this scroll view. So we can only add scroll views. We can give the main scroll view children which have got a different orientations, because if I put another scroll view or another flat list inside this scroll view with the same direction, React Native will not accept that. So they will give a warning or error. So that means in order to render these data, which is an array of data, we need to use the map method instead of a scroll view or flat list, because this is having this orientation already. So in here I'm going to open a view. I'm going to open a view above the scroll view. I hope you understood what I'm saying. We have a scroll view already in here which has got a vertical scroll direction. That means I cannot add another scroll view here with vertical scroll direction again. It's gonna be giving an error. So to avoid that, I'm simply gonna use a map method. So open a view here, and then inside this view, okay, before that, I'm simply gonna copy again this title, copy this title above, and paste it below, above the view that you've just opened now. And inside here we're gonna say restaurants available in your area. Restaurant in your area. So this is this title here. Let me open our app to see if everything will be fine. Yeah, here I'm going to save. Now we have that title, restaurant in your area, and then inside this view I'm going to dynamically pass or render some component or the food card. So to do that, open the bracket, and first of all, in this view I'm going to give it some styles. And I'm gonna say star, give it the width of screen width, and I'm going to give it some padding top, of 10. And then we're going to use the map method. So I'm going to use the data which we have to render, which is restaurant data, restaurant data dot map, and here we're gonna get the items, which is the object of each of the element of our array. Then we'll return some data, which will be the cart. Now why are we getting an error? We're gonna be returning a view. We're gonna be returning this view. We're gonna be returning a view, and then this view must have a key prop. So we're gonna say key be equal to item dot id or dot key, sorry, because if you go to our data, you will see that each restaurant has got an ID. Okay, so instead of it's actually gonna be dot id, sorry, not key, because there's no key, this will be id. Awesome. And we can also pass some data, some star. I'm gonna say stars, and then I'm gonna give a padding bottom of 20. Now here we can render our card inside this view. I'm simply gonna copy the card that we've passed here. Can copy this, and inside here you can paste this card. Now there's one thing I want you to notice. I think I've shown this already before. You can see that this card here, the width of this card or the size of this card, the one that I'm scrolling, are different from this. So in order to achieve that, instead of passing 0.8 here, I'm gonna say 95. So I want this card to have to be occupying 95% of my screen. Now that we have passed 95, I'm going to save this file. Before saving, let me first go back to our app. I'm going to save this and let's see what happens. Awesome. Now we have our card as well listed in your area, restaurant in your area. So we have the restaurant listed there as well. So I can say we're almost completing this screen, this home screen. It's almost completed. We've done so much. But there's two more things that we need to add. The first one you see as I'm scrolling, you can see that the parent view, which is having this delivery and pickup buttons, is being transparent right now. As I'm scrolling, you can see that these items are being visible below these two buttons, the pickup button as well as the delivery button. And we don't want that behavior, because if you go to the main app, our app, the completed app, you see that when I scroll, there's nothing transparent. We have a white background. So we're going to implement the white background as well in our code, so that when we scroll, we don't have the transparent view underneath our buttons. So we are in our home screen still. I want you to scroll to this view, which is having the delivery button and pickup button. So this is just the view below the scroll view, and under that view we have another view, and we're going to pass some styles to this first view. So we're going to say style. I'm gonna pass background color, and in the background color we're going to say this will be equal to colors, the global colors. And we're gonna say card color. And also I'm going to, let me just see if there's some padding on the final product. Yes, we have some padding. So I'm going to say pass some padding bottom of 5. And let me go back to our app. Right now it is transparent, as you can see. Now I'm going to save. Let's see what happens. Let me save this. I haven't saved yet. Okay, it's saving. Awesome. Now we can see that nothing is transparent as I'm scrolling. So this is looking great. This is great. And the other thing that I want to implement is, right now if you see, we have a real-time counter here. You can see 42 and the other number there. You can see where my cursor is on the emulator. You can see that number is changing, it's counting. So since this category says free delivery now, and it said that these options of free delivery will be expiring in 42 minutes and 30 seconds, and that is counting in real time, changing to tell the client that this free delivery will be expiring in this minute. That means when this reaches 0, we won't have free delivery in this area. And this data will be passed from the server, from the restaurant management. But for now, since we're still busy with the UI only, we haven't started coding the server side, we're going just to put some dummy data. So I want you to go to your app, and going to install a library in order to achieve this, and the library is called React Native Countdown Component. Normally this can be implemented without a library. We can type some lines of code implement this, but this is not the purpose for this project. For demonstration purpose, I'm going to use this library. First of all, let me cancel my terminal. I'm going to stop my server, and I want you to open your browser. I'm going to open my browser just now. Alright, here it is. I want you to type React Native Countdown Component. Type React Native Countdown Component. Go to the npm package. The npm package, you're gonna have all the procedures, and you can read all about this component. It's a comprehensive documentation, but for this one, you can simply copy this installation and copy there. Just click on it, it's gonna copy. Then go back to your terminal. I'm going to open my terminal and paste that. Sorry, I'm pasting wrong things. Apparently I didn't copy it. Let me go back. It's not saying copied. There's something is not right. Let me see if it's copied or not. Okay, now I think it's copied. Let me go back to the terminal. Alright, so it's npm install, which is stand for React Native Countdown Component. Then you can press your enter key to begin the installation. This won't take long. This won't take long. And in the meanwhile, we're going to import this component that we're busy installing right now. I want you to import something just below React Native element. You can type import countdown with small letter from. This will be from React Native Countdown Component. You can see the installation is complete with success, and we're going to import this component here. Now that you have imported the countdown component, which is this green counting component here, you can scroll down to the free delivery. Yes, we are here. We have the free delivery view, and beneath that you have another view. So inside this view, I'm going to open a view. I'm going to call a view component, and inside this view component, before, let me pass some styles. I'm gonna have to pass some styles to this view. First of all, gonna be the flex direction. You can see we have the option changing in as well as the counter down, so it's gonna be a flex. The flex direction will be row, so I'm going to pass row as my flex direction. And the first thing that we have is the option changing in, so we need to have a text component in this view. I'm going to call a text component, and here I'm going to write options changing in. And also there's some styles for this, all the styles for this, because it's just our normal styles with font size and all that. I'm gonna copy and paste some styles in this text component, and you can simply pause the video and tap these styles here. You can tap that style. Let me just make the screen full for now. Awesome. I'm sure you can see. So we have this text component, option changing in, and then you type those stars. And now we're going to call the countdown component which we have installed in our project. Going to open countdown and close the tag. Now we need to pass some props before we save this file. So the first one is until. This is the duration which you want your counter to count, and this is in second. This will be in second. Let me show you. Right now it's counting, and this is in minutes, but what we have to pass here, it's in second. So for 1 hour, 1 hour is 60 minutes, and it's gonna be 3,600 seconds for 1 hour. As I said, this data at the end of this app, we're gonna be passing this data dynamically from the server, but for now I'm just putting this for demonstration purpose. We're also gonna pass the size prop, and this will be 14, and we need to pass some style. There's digit style that we need to create. And the digit style, this is the style of this view, this green. This is where you pass the background color and all those type of things. So I'm going to pass the background color, and I'm gonna say colors. This will be from the global colors in light green. Okay, I did create these light green colors. I'm sure right now you don't have it. So go to your global folder and styles.js file. Add this line here under your colors. We can add light green and add that RGB code. So you should have this, otherwise you won't have the color green, because this is not part of what was previously done in this file. So assume you have tapped this color. You can go back to your component, to your home screen file, and we're going to pass now another style. As I said, this style here is simply for this view, which is green. Now we need to pass the style for the text inside, this minute as well as second. So I'm going to say digit text style, and I'm going to pass an object of styles again, and the color I'm going to pass colors from the global stars, and this will be card background because it has to be white. Awesome. And then there's another prop which is called time to show. So this will give the format of time which you want to show. In this case you want minute as well as second. So this is the format of time, and it's gonna be an array. In this array, the first element will be minute and the second element will be second. Now we need to pass these labels. You can see minute and second there. You can pass another prop which is called time labels, which will label your time. So this is an object, and the first one has passed the minute label. We want to label it with something called min, and for the second we want to label it with something called sake. You can put whatever, but it makes sense to put this in this instance. And this is all for this countdown component. I'm going to save it. Before saving, let me go to our app. Alright, okay, it says I cannot connect to Metro server. I did kill my server, so let me run React Native. I'm going to run npx React Native run Android. I'm going to launch my emulator right now. Let me launch my emulator, and let me close this as well since I'm relaunching this app. So while my project is being built, I'm going to pause this video and I will resume it when the build is complete. Okay, my build is complete. As you can see, my emulator is now running. Let's go to the home screen. Awesome. So far this is what we have built for the home screen. And now let me save my home screen file for what we have done. I've created this countdown component, as you can see here. So now I'm going to save this file to see what change we're gonna get on the screen. Awesome. There we have this counter right now counting, but still we need to change this text because it's not looking does not look what we exactly want. So on this, I'm going to say on these styles here, on this parent view for text as well as countdown component, I'm going to pass a style. I'm going to say align item because I want this to be aligned in the center. I'm going to say align items. I'm going to say center, and let me save, and let's see what happens. Awesome. So this is exactly what we want. If you go to our finished app, you can see that this is in the center and everything's looking more or less the same. Everything is looking more or less the same. And so in the next video we will begin implementing the tab navigators, and we also start with we're actually going to start with the drawer navigator, so that when we click on this menu icon, we are able to open the drawer, as you can see on the app. And we're going also then to implement the drawer navigator, and after the drawer navigator we're going to implement the bottom tab navigators, as you can see at the bottom of this app. And we're also going to implement this map icon in the next videos, so that when you click, it will take you to the restaurant map screen, where you can view the restaurant on the map. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. This was a very long video, and I hope to see you in the next video as well, so that we can complete this project. And if it's your first time and you are not yet subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe to this channel. It really helps a lot. And until then, keep safe and take care. Bye bye.